I spent 2 days last week feeling like total crap over a comment section full of people being nice to me. Now, I know that's a weird thing to say, so let me back up. When you tell people that you've tried everything and nothing worked, they're going to hand you one more thing to try, right? Something that they've tried or read about or saw in their feed. Something their cousin's sister's friend did once back in 2010. I do this too. You know why? Because there has to be one more thing that you haven't tried. There has to be. Because if you miss something, then maybe effort still works. And if effort still works, everybody gets to feel safe. Last week's video was about how I have a million jobs and none of them pay. And you guys showed up. That comment section was full of people who watched, thought about me, and then left me a comment, which is honestly more attention than I've gotten from any company that I've applied to in the last 2.5 years. A lot of you had ideas, teach, drive for Uber, deliver food, clean houses, get on Upwork, look into security, join Toastmasters. So the video about how I keep giving myself more jobs generated an excellent list of more jobs. And honestly, that's kind of perfect. I couldn't have set that up better if I tried. If you're new here, hi, I'm Sheila. I'm not a coach. I'm not a guru. I'm just your 55-year-old internet auntie who spent the last 2.5 years discovering just how many jobs a person can have and still technically call themselves unemployed. Come on in. Now, I loved the comments. I really did. I love this community so much and the way that you show up, not only for me, but for each other. Those suggestions came from people who like me and really wanted to help. Well, I'll bet that one guy. There's always that one guy. The thing is, I learned something huge from that video and those comments, and it wasn't a new job to try. Well, there was one about being a security guard that I kind of enjoyed. Now, my first reaction was to start writing replies, right? Long ones. I explained that I've already driven for Uber, and there are a few videos that I've already made about why I stopped. I explained that in my area, there are no routes for Amazon, Spark, Uber Eats, DoorDash, and all those other gig jobs. My area is totally and completely saturated. I explained that teaching means getting hired full-time first and paying for my own license while I do it, which is basically a whole new career where I start working for free. Upwork and Fiverr I've done. I'm competing against people that are outside the country who can charge a fraction of what I can. I explained that I had the dates off my resume for 2 years and it works beautifully right up until someone sees my beautiful face. I sat there for an hour justifying my own video to people who liked it, who cared about me, who wanted to help. That's what it was. I was preparing a case. I had evidence. I had a timeline. And nobody asked me for any of that. Nobody said, prove it. I just automatically assume that before I'm permitted to say anything, I have to show that I've personally attempted every form of labor available in the continental United States. So, what's the suggestion that you're tired of getting? Not because people are wrong, just because you've already been there. I'll go first. Mine is Uber. Uber is awful. Truly, truly. Now, after noodling on this all week, here's where I landed. I assumed I was defending myself because people weren't listening. That's not it. They heard me just fine. When you tell somebody you need help, they want to give you the best advice they have, and they're hoping it's the one thing that you haven't already thought of. That the answer is still out there and you somehow just missed it. Now, I used to think that was kind of insulting, but now I know it's not. It's hope. It's hope that effort still gets you somewhere. You'll be rewarded, that it counts. I don't think anybody thought I was too stupid to consider Uber. I think they were hoping that there was still one ordinary, fixable thing between me and being okay. The advice was trying to help me, but I also think it was trying to keep one terrifying possibility out of the room. Sometimes a person can work her ass off and the money still doesn't come. Sometimes we're protecting a rule that we need in order to feel safe. Work hard, you'll be fine. Work harder, you'll be more fine. And if you're still not fine, well, there's an app for that. The comments didn't put a new idea in my head. They already sounded exactly like the voice that was already in there. Gosh, Sheila, there has to be one more thing you can do. Come on, figure it out. That's why the comments made me feel worse. Nobody was being hard on me. Everybody was trying. But I got to the bottom of the comment section and I'd already tried all of them. And that's when it hit me. I'd been hoping that there was still a door somewhere and I just hadn't found it. But it looks like that's not the case. This is just what it's going to be right now. Because as long as there's one more thing the struggling person could be doing, nobody has to look at anything else. Nobody has to look at wages that stopped moving 30 years ago. Nobody has to look at what happens to your career the day you turn 50. Nobody has to look at unpaid caregiving or health insurance that costs freaking more than my first car, or gig work that used to be a backup plan for additional income, and now it's somebody's entire income. That's a much harder list to do anything about. So here's what I'm actually going to start doing. And I want to warn you now that it might sound a little bit stupid, but I've realized that my life is full of things that just aren't done, right? Now, none of this is going to fix my income problem. It doesn't make the job hunt finish or a sponsor say yes, or make a company look at my resume and see 30 years of experience instead of the exact date they think I should quietly wander off into the Colorado woods. But I can stop treating every unfinished thing in my life like it's evidence against me. The job hunt isn't done. The worrying isn't done. The channel is never done. There's always another video, another thumbnail, another thing that I should have posted yesterday. And here's the part that I finally see. When I had a job, somebody else decided when things were finished. I had milestones. I had to meet goals. I had objectives. You turn it in, it's out of your hands. Friday comes and the money shows up, and that's your receipt. Somebody signed off. Nobody signs off now. I'm the boss, the employee, and HR. And let me tell you, performance reviews around here are freaking brutal. I'm the only one who can look at a day and call it good, and I have never once done that. Never once. I sit down at 7 in the morning and I get up at 6 at night, and the verdict is always the same. Not enough. Not enough. Try again tomorrow. So I'm going to finish one thing a day now. That's my new goal, right? It's not necessarily going to be a productive thing. It's not a thing that makes money. It's just a task that has a beginning, a middle, and an end that stays ended. And before my brain turns this into job number 1 bajillion, this isn't a challenge and I'm not keeping score. I just want one thing that doesn't follow me into tomorrow. This is going to sound, okay, I'm going to clean under my bathroom sink. And then I'm going to be proud that I did that. That's it. That's my first task. That is the whole return on investment. Nobody's going to come inspect it. Well, and then because I'm apparently incapable of doing anything without turning it into content, I'm going to post the before and after pictures as my own little version of accountability. However, there will be no sponsor for it. It cannot be scaled, and it will never have a newsletter. Because I've been working like somebody's keeping score, and there's nobody there. There's no manager. There's no Friday. Just me deciding every single night whether what I did was or wasn't enough. At some point, one of us has to sign off on something, and today it's going to be me. So I'm starting with the sink. Now, every week I show up and talk about the midlife stuff that nobody warned us about, whether it's work, finances, mental health, or starting over. If that sounds like your kind of place, then please hit subscribe. I would love to have you here. If you're interested, my one-on-ones, workbooks, membership, and Substack are all in the link in the description. Those are the jobs that I'm actually keeping. Uber is dead to me. I've been called brave more in the last 2.5 years than in the whole rest of my life put together, and I have never once felt further from it. I was horizontal for most of the last 2.5 years. So I went looking for why everybody reaches for that particular word, and what I found underneath it made me not want to use it on me ever again. Come and find out why in this video here.